Yeah, well, it's simply an everyday story. It's a fall in Michigan, which means as the Detroit Lions chaplain, I have responsibility, especially on game weekends, where I speak to the team on Saturday night. By the way, that's after preaching twice at church. So we had two Saturday night
Exactly.
services. Then I go down to the team hotel. I speak to the team. I come home. I get a quick night's sleep. I do three more sermons in the morning, and then I rush to the stadium. I'm not bragging. It's just that's the way the weekends were as a pastor of a church and a chaplain. And so then I'm on the sideline for the Lions game, a home game. I come home and obviously exhausted. Just all I want to do is go to sleep. And I'm crawling in bed at 11:30, and I hadn't really seen Ann all day. And all I say to her, just sort of under my breath, is, "Gee whiz, I mean, getting a lot of critiques on my sermons lately." And I lay my head on the pillow. That's it.
And I'm a verbal processor, so if I think it, I would most often say it. But this is where God is shifting me. And I felt like God was putting me on this path of ask this question. Should I say it? When Dave says something, and before I'm going to say anything, should I say it? The next question is, if yes, then when and how should I say it? I had never stopped to consider that. And those are really important things to ask. So Dave said that, and here's what came into my mind, and I would have said it in the past. I almost said, well, if you just study the word more, I think your sermons would be better. So I asked God, God, should I say it? No. Lord, should I say anything? And this is the thought that came to my mind. James 1 says, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God who gives generously. So, Lord, should I say anything? And this is the thought that came. And I said it. I said, man, I can't imagine what it's like to be you. You have thousands of people depending on your walk with God. What a weighty thing that must be to carry. And then there's quiet, and then he rolls over, he pulls me over to himself, and he whispers in my ear, you are my life. And what if I would have said, if you just study the word more, your sermons would be better? That would have been words of death. And that's where those words of life, when we bring God into it with us, like he's always with us, but when we allow him access into our thoughts, into our minds, into our words, he wants to transform our marriages and our relationships. And he wants to use us as women to do that. Does
And,
he want to use men? Sure. But we can only control ourselves.
yeah, and I did not think in that moment, oh, I'm going to pull her over and say you are my life. I just did, which shows the power that a wife has. If somebody comes up to me after a sermon and says, "You're amazing," you know what I do? I smile and say thanks. But what I'm thinking is, I'm not amazing. They don't know the other stuff. They don't know my struggles. But when your wife, who sees the bad and the ugly and the good, says you're amazing, that's powerful. And I don't think
Mm.
wives understand you have that kind of power to build up your man. And it was like, I'm doing life with this woman because she's my partner and I can't do it without her. And I'm just saying, man, women, you have that power.
Yeah,
Men have it too with their wives, but man, I think women underestimate the power. And this is a God-given power
of our influence.
that you have to influence your man and your sons and the other men in a powerful way. Now, that doesn't mean you don't speak truth. You have to speak truth and you do it. And God's given you that power as well. Speak it in love. But if it's all you're doing, it feels like boo. But if he's hearing praise and you've got good qualities and you're a good man and thanks for doing this and that, and then you have to bring a hard truth, it's going to be received much better. It's probably going to help shape him into the man that God wants him to be.